Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new moon in Cancer. These are going to be the secret code name readings, and there will be timestamps for everything, including the cosmic currency, which we're going to do first. We're going to talk about the different aspects. This is what the cosmic currency is. It's the energetic currency of what is going on. So this is the chart that I'm looking at for our new moon in Cancer. As you can see, I got a color printer. The little things in life. I got my ass a color printer. And I want to talk about these aspects because there's a lot of positive ones. Okay, you can see all the nice trines and sextiles in here. There's only one real square and then two oppositions, but one is nodal. So we're going to talk a little bit about it and the fact that this moon is out of bounds, and so is mine. Not only am I Cancer moon dominant with all of my other inner planets in detriment, and my Cancer moon being in its best place ever, my moon is also out of bounds, which and very out of bounds. I was at like 27 degrees something odd minutes declination. So we collectively, right, because this is also where the moon is as we speak, it's way out of bounds, which has to do with the celestial equator and a bunch of other stuff, but it really begs the question of why people do what they do, because an out of bounds moon is so emotionally different, intuitively different, especially in Cancer. They feel things so differently than the mainstream or the flat line energy of the collective. They're looking at it from such a different angle that they don't understand how people can behave the way they behave or choose things the way that they choose. And to be fair, I find myself there often. I have a hard time, even more so now that I'm older, being in groups with people who just seem so far removed from the highest good. Like to this day, I don't understand how people could lie and hurt each other. I don't understand how people could cheat, right? Cancer moon is loyalty. Like, I don't understand it. Like, if you're not feeling the relationship anymore, then leave. You know, why drag it out? Why pull somebody along? Why lie and manipulate and tell them you're fine when you're not? Like, I don't understand it, right? And it has a lot to do with my out of bounds moon. And beings, that is the energy here, right? That we have this really out of bounds moon at 14 degrees Cancer being lit by the sun. I think a lot of people are starting to ask themselves, why do they do that? Because you can intuit it very clearly. You can see it very clearly. Especially because this moon is kind of in trine to Saturn. You know, it's a 5-degree orb, but it's in trine to Saturn. And Mars is sextiling in between them. Mars and Saturn are in an exact sextile. And I think the answer for a lot of people is stability and finances, to be fair. With Mars and Taurus doing what they're doing, choosing what they're choosing, right? Masculine energy with Mars for financial reasons and stability. And it has to do with Saturn in Pisces, which is the divine order of the soul. There are certain things that are healing around finances and our inability to really rise to the challenge of self-improvement on a very deep level, because Pisces is the deepest that it goes. It's our house of suppression. It's our house of fears. And what we need to do to really face them and uncover them. And speaking of Pisces, it clicked with me today. So I'm going to share it with you guys. And I do not doubt it will blow your fucking mind. So I had a dream a few days ago, maybe 2 days ago. And it was a disturbing dream. And it wasn't a quote unquote dream. It felt more like a timeline jump because I had my 5 senses. I could feel things, right? Physically feel things. And the dream itself was a nightmare, so forgive me, okay? Because I'm not going to go into the full details of it, but it's a nightmare, okay? I was captive. I was in some dark room, chained to a platform. I was on my stomach, and my hands were chained, and my legs were chained, and I couldn't move from where I was. And my son was there. And so was this other guy and his partner, a man and a woman. They were older and really grungy. And he was sitting on a computer in the room. And he was giving my son orders to find other victims, because if he didn't, then he would end up like me. And he was trying to get botflies. If y'all do not know what botflies are, he was trying to get botflies to take to my skin, because they will start to cause problems. They will start to eat you from the inside, right? This guy was a psychological nut and a murderer, right? And the botflies just weren't taking to me for the longest time. And so I'm talking to him and I'm asking him different questions. And I wasn't really bothered because the botflies, he wasn't able to get them to get me. For whatever reason, they just weren't taking to me. And he said something that stuck with me when I woke up, because he's psychotic, right? He's a psychopath. And he said, if you want to understand people's deepest fears, you have to know what stories they liked as a child. And I woke up and remembered that, because eventually he got a botfly to take, and I could feel it wiggle around. I woke right up. And I was like, yeah, no. And it looked like Ninjask or whatever the Pokemon is. And I ended up deleting him out of my Pokemon. I was like, nope, I ain't looking at that. Nope, it freaked me out. Anyway, I was thinking about it. And I thought I was always drawn, because it's what stories or whatever you're drawn to. So like the itsy bitsy spider, right? I always liked singing that as a kid. And I fucking hate spiders. I'm terrified of spiders, right? And I used to sing the little old lady that swallowed a fly, perhaps she'll die. And I started thinking about all these things. I was always drawn to Maleficent, specifically Maleficent, her character. And I was always drawn to Beauty and the Beast. And of course I loved Belle and the Beast, but I was also, Lumiere was my favorite character. And I started to think about how we find such joy and resonation with characters as a child because they overcame the fear. Think about that in a very metaphoric way. Because when I started looking at it in reference to my journey, right? When I started looking at it, I was like, Maleficent. The fear of being too powerful and being outcast, right? The fear of being misunderstood. And I was just like, oh my God, the fear of being taken down because you are too powerful and unwanted and misunderstood, right? Unwelcomed. And I thought Beauty and the Beast, right? And I was like, the fear of falling in love with someone who will never change. Because Belle fell in love with the Beast, but the Beast changed. So there's this fear, right? Because she overcame the fear of deep within the self that we come into with this life. And I was like, she was able to achieve it. You know, the Beast changed for her. And Lumiere, right? Highly sexual candlestick who loved the feather duster. And I was like, the fear of being sexualized, right? The fear of being attractive. And I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Because I started to see myself in a completely different way. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I used to love Beatrix Potter and the story of Peter Rabbit, which coincidentally enough, a huge rabbit just moved in right above my garden. He's been out there the last couple of days, and I found his little rabbit hole, and I was kind of thrilled. But if you think about the story of Peter Rabbit, it was this feeling of being locked out of abundance, right? Locked out of abundance, having a family that you want to take care of, wanting the good things in life, and knowing they're in the garden, and you're not allowed to touch it. But Peter Rabbit went in anyway. You know, and then there was this fear of being trapped. Well, what if I get trapped in there? You know, because he was captured. This fear of being trapped in order to have the good things. And I'm like, I have a serious fear of being in relationships that are financially supportive and abundant because I feel trapped in them. I feel trapped in them. I need independence. I need to be able to do my own thing and make my own money. It was one of the big problems that I had when I was with probably the better of all the boyfriends I've had in my life. He provided everything and didn't want me to work, and he was an amazing person, but I felt so fucking trapped. You know, like he was insecure with me making money. He didn't want me to. He wanted me to be codependent, and I had this fear of being trapped, right? And I'm thinking about all the different childhood stories that I was drawn to, that I watched a million times because I was drawn to them. And that dream really triggered off a lot of different revelations for me about myself. You know, if you want to understand a person's fears, you have to understand their favorite childhood stories. Like, even looking at my ex-husband, right? My son's father, his favorite movie was Fox and the Hound. Favorite. And if you think about that movie, Todd, the fox, was taken in as a baby and was like spoiled. And he was the oldest and the only one for years. And then his sister came along and he hated it. He hated it. And he was afraid, right? Because Todd got too old and too rebellious, I guess. He wasn't, you know, little cute Todd anymore. He was doing fox things and, you know, getting into trouble. And his mother, right? Todd's human mom, essentially kicked him out, right? She drove him away and essentially kicked him out because he was too old. And that's what ended up happening to my son's father. He stayed with his mother for as long as he fucking could until he literally was causing like way too many problems in his mother's life and was a bigger hassle than he was a support. And she ended up having to kick him out. She had to choose between a new life with a partner or her son. And her partner wouldn't have it. He was like, he's a grown-ass man now. He's in his 20s. Like, he works. There is no reason why he should not be out on his own, you know? And I thought about that. And I was just like, wow, you know, the fears that mirror. And so I posed that pondering to all of you who catch that, because I think you will have a much deeper and more interesting understanding of the 12th house, your suppressed and buried fears, the things that are unseen and the unconscious being the things that we bring into this life that we are not privy to. Why are we drawn to it as children? Because they overcome it, right? We're drawn to it because they overcome it. And it's something that we want to overcome, but are afraid to, right? We want to overcome it, but we're afraid to it. Or afraid of it. You know, even with Beauty and the Beast being one of my other favorite movies, right? I was talking about Beauty and the Beast. Like the sorceress at the beginning, I always was drawn to that. And it's this fear of not being seen for the value that I hold, right? Being mistaken as something discardable, something that someone can shut the door on, and me not being the ugly old hag, you know, the discardable person that they thought, but being this beautiful, powerful person, and cursing someone. Like, I never wanted, I was afraid of it. Like, I was afraid of being discarded and people feeling cursed after. And it's true. Like, anybody who I've ever truly offered beautiful gifts to, right? Like, she offered the prince the rose, and he ended up turning into the beast because he threw it away, you know, and he put her back out into the world. And anybody that I've ever left, they've always accused me of like cursing them or something. I'm like, listen, like, I didn't do anything, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you, you know, like, I'm sorry that life is shitty, but, you know, karma's a bitch, I guess, because, you know, I didn't do anything to deserve what you did, you know? So I don't know, but it was something I was always accused of. And it was just like, it was so bizarre. And if you think about the fairy tales and you think about the stories that you're drawn to, how the fuck did those start repeating? How did you have to overcome it? This is what is going on. Okay. This is like the deep revelatory stuff, the divine order of things with Saturn and Pisces being trine to the sun and moon, and Venus for that matter, because Venus is an orb of this, and it's at 23 degrees Cancer, and it's also trining on Neptune. I mean, trining on Saturn. I feel like the reality of things, the woundings within the self, because Jupiter in Gemini is aspecting on the nodes. It's trining South Node and sextiling on the North Node. There's this crossroad, right? Whenever you have nodal aspects, there's this choice point. And Jupiter is a big magnifier about the reality and the mirror. And you can either choose to see it for what it is and empower the self, right? North Node in Aries, you can empower the self, or you can use your relationship dynamics to erase the certain painful things about the self that you're having a hard time seeing. So if you're not self-acknowledging, if you're not self-healing, especially because Chiron is also in Aries, right? It's like, even if they're not conjunct and things like that, if you can imagine people standing inside of a room, like Chiron and the North Node are still standing in the same room. They can still hear each other. They're still vibing with the same atmosphere, you know? And it's like, you really have to find this place within yourself that you can be happy with and proud of, that you can feel good about your decisions because they're in high alignment. Not necessarily with the ego, but with the high self, right? The higher self, the higher masculine energy that Aries represents, right? The higher mind. Aries rules the head. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's the capital S self. So if you start to go within and really allow your mind to expand on different revelations, even like I was talking about with the fairy tales and the stories, I think it will blow your mind about what your healing actually is. Because like, I know my son's favorite stories, they weren't the same as mine. They weren't the same as his dad's, but it makes so much fucking sense to me. You know what I mean? In hindsight. Makes so much sense to me. People resonate to different stories and different fairy tales. Some people love The Little Mermaid. Some people like Thomas the Trains. Some people like whatever the fuck they like. They're drawn to different characters within the story. Like someone might like the same movie, but maybe I liked Lumiere. Maybe someone else loves Chip. And they're afraid of being broken and not being good enough. Right? Maybe they're afraid that they're going to get thrown away. That they're not good enough like the other cups because they're chipped. But yet there's deep sentiment in that cup, right? So it's like you really have to think about what the deep-rooted fears are. I think there is a chance, especially with this taking place on the star Sirius. It's one of the most spiritual stars, one of the most highest vibrational stars in the sky. It's exact. This new moon is exact on it. This out of bounds moon. If you can take yourself and put yourself into a wildly different perspective and feel through it to better understand yourself and why you're here, I think it can be profoundly healing. Profoundly healing. The biggest challenge with this moon is the square from Venus to Chiron and Aries. Venus in Cancer really is all about self-love and self-nurturance and wounds, right? I'm gonna tell you a little something. That is what it's wildly embarrassing, but you know, it shouldn't come as a surprise. I'm 38 years old, single as hell woman, right? I had a knot in the back of my neck so bad. And I was like, God, like I really need a massage, right? Like I really do need it. Like that would be ideal right now if someone could massage it out, but I don't have any partner to help me massage it out for me, and I don't have any massage tools, and I don't have money to go get one, let alone even know if there was a masseuse in town. And I thought, because I used to have a massage tool, but I had given it to my son, and it's like a 3-pronged, you know, thing that I got off Amazon, and it vibrates, right? And I was like, God, you know, I wish I had that, but I gave it to my son 2 years ago, and God knows what a teenage boy, you know, would do. So anyway, I was like, I don't have anything like that. And then I thought, well, I kind of do. And it's clean. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. And I used my vibrator to get the knot out of my neck. And it's like these weird challenges where you might not have enough money, right? Venus energy, self-nurturance might feel like a challenge when you're dealing with wounds, and it might be physical, it might be psychological, but I was like, damn, if I'm going to sit here with this knot in my neck, you know, so solution oriented, and you got to rise to the challenge. It's like, you know, as embarrassing as it is, I'm not sitting here with a knot in my neck, so the fuck do I care, right? Problem solved. But it's like that's the kind of challenge. Like, are you willing to suffer instead of being solution oriented and knowing what your needs are, right? And will you judge yourself because you don't have enough money, or you don't have a partner, right? You don't have anybody or anything available to you to help you solve it? What is at your disposal? What do you have? You know, instead of focusing on what you don't have, what do you have? You know, and that could apply to any situation involving self-care, self-nurturance, money to support the self and invest in the self, and different woundings, right? Whether they're physical wounds or psychological wounds. Like, you might not be able to afford a therapist, but you might have a best friend. And if you don't have a best friend, well, maybe you have a pet. Maybe you have a cat or a dog. And even though you know they don't understand a word you're fucking saying, utilizing the fact that you have someone to talk to, if that's what you have, use it. Use it. You know, don't feel bad or judge yourself because you have a certain situation going on right now. It is what it is. And it's okay, right? It is what it is, and it's okay. Be solution oriented and refrain from self-judgment. Like, I literally just sat here and told y'all I used my vibrator as a fucking massage tool to get a knot out of my neck. Like, if I can do that, you can talk to your fucking cat, okay? Like, on a real note. And so that is essentially, that is the breakdown of the cosmic currency. We're looking at the mirror of things. We are at this choice point. We are doing deep dive revelation into the self from a wildly different perspective, and intuiting things and feeling through things in ways that we're not necessarily familiar with or used to. And we're asking ourselves, how can people be like that? You know, because it doesn't sit right with us. There's something so off about it, you know? And if it's not resonating with you and you're looking at them from a different angle because you're not so invested, that you're blind, that you can actually see what is going on within your dynamic shifts with people from like an outer perspective, like a third party perspective. If you can see what is going on, I think you'd be really surprised even at yourself. Like, why am I doing this? You know, this is the big question that people are asking. Why am I doing this? And how could they do that? Or how could whatever, you know, like, this is what is going on. So we are going to get into the secret code names. Let me timestamp where we're starting. The readings start. This will be the intro at 26 minutes, 46 seconds, give or take, because I know YouTube does all kinds of weird shit with the timestamps, but I'll figure it out after. Secret code name readings. For those of you who are not familiar with them, secret code name readings are bought by individuals, and I give them a secret code name. So this is their personal reading. They know what secret code name is theirs. Okay. So they know that, you know, whoever purchased Marseilles, they know what secret code name is theirs. It's their personal reading. The beauty of the secret code names and the fact that they are secreted is that anybody can resonate to them. Anybody can be drawn to a secret code name, have it stand out to them. They don't know why it's standing out to them, but there's something about it. And there's most likely a message in there for you, because we're all connected in some which way, shape, or form. And whoever purchased it and whoever you are may be going through a common energy, right? A common alignment, a common wavelength. And so you're attracted to that secret coding for a reason. All right. If you would like your own secret code names, especially if you haven't gotten one before, I have a 40 off for the 4th of July sale going on through tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day. It's 40% off the entire shop, including the secret code name moon events. So if you haven't gotten one before and you're curious about how it is, now would be the time to get them. You can purchase them for any of the different moon events for the rest of the year. Yeah, now would be a good time. Okay. There was something else I wanted to say with it, but you know, ADD brain. So we're just going to roll with that. All right. So we're going to start with the 4 secret code names for today. It is Marseille, Sunflower, Ivy, and Snowman. All right. Those are the 4 secret code names. So if any of them jump out at you, chances are there is a message in there for you. We're going to start with Marseille. And I thought it was interesting too, talking about fairy tales and stories, because Marseille, Beauty and the Beast actually takes place in France, not in Marseille, but in France. And then in hindsight, I was looking at Ivy and I was like, Poison Ivy, right? From the Batman stories, from the comics. And I was like, how interesting would that be if you were drawn to or understanding Poison Ivy, if you had a resonation of that character. Same thing with Snowman, right? Like Frosty the Snowman, the fear surrounding Frosty would be seasonal, right? Afraid of being only good for a season and then disappearing, being forgotten about until, you know, it's that season again. And it might be, you know, concerning having partners that are constantly in and out of your life, afraid that you're only seasonal and you're not going to find a place where you can belong all the time, right? Sunflower is a little different. So you'd have to let me know if you're drawn to Sunflower, if there are any movies that feature sunflowers or any stories that feature sunflowers. Maybe Pocahontas. I don't know if there was like a scene in sunflowers. I don't know. So you'll have to let me know in the comments which one you were drawn to and what stories or movies or anything that you were drawn to prior that might connect with that. So the decks we're using, we are using, because this is the It's Okay to Love Me themed readings. It's okay to love me. It's a deep dive within the self. And so we're going to do major guidance cards. I'm using my Romance Angel Oracle, which I turned into a self-love deck when I got it. There's marker on like 75% of these cards because I wrote all over them. We're using the Archangel Oracle cards and my archetype cards by Carolyn Mess. We're going to be using those. And then I've got my spiritual as fuck deck for extra guidance. All right. So Marseille. Timestamp. All right. We are going to start with the archetype cards and get an idea of where the light and shadow is at battle within the self. And then we're going to pull the Archangel cards and the Romance Angel cards and get a complete message for you. All right. So secret code name Marseille. What is the light and shadow within the self? We got Pioneer and Alchemist. So with these two cards, the light attributes are transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom and a passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. I think I instantly got this feeling of breaking ancestral patterns. So you might be like the black swan, right, in the family, or the black sheep. Might be really different. You might not be following along the same lines as your siblings. Like, you know, as an example, maybe all of your siblings, you know, went to college, got degrees, got certain, you know, salary jobs, and you're doing something wildly fucking different, right? You would be the oddball, someone that has ideas, has creative ideas, and has a real passion for that creativity. And you're capable, right? You're capable of seeing things or intuiting things that other people wouldn't even think about. You know, it's like you have this almost mad scientist vibe to the way that you run your life and your relationships, right? You do things in ways that other people haven't. And because you're so bright, the shadows or the fears, because you're so mutable, because you're so changing and almost sporadic, right? Kind of sailing through experience by the fleeting inspirational moments to create or be certain places or connected to certain people. I think that you're afraid of this compulsive need to keep moving on, because you're constantly evolving, constantly changing, constantly growing, where most people stagnate and they baseline, right? They baseline out, and you're constantly out evolving people. And so you might have this fear of being unstable, that if you were to stagnate and stay around people who don't participate in your growth or grow with you, that you would end up misusing or abusing them in some way. You know, that you would even just attempt to manipulate them into evolution, trick them into their healing kind of thing. You know, if you stuck around too long, you would actually, I think you're afraid that you would misuse your spiritual sight. And so you have this compulsive need to keep going because you utilize relationship dynamics, not maliciously, but spirit connects you with certain people for a reason, and it's for your growth. And once you've grown to the extent that they could help you grow, you know you need to move on. You know you need to move on. You can't actually stagnate with them without starting to feel like you're hurting them. And you might judge yourself, right? You might judge yourself, but you are an alchemist, right? There's something catalytic about the experience of you in their growth process too. So it just might take more time for them, or go in a different direction, but they didn't not meet you in the moment, whether that moment was a day or a month or a few years, right? The moment that you spent with them, that they spent interacting with you, inside that creative freedom, that light, that passion for life that you have. It does help heal people, even if you can't see it. The entry and the exit of you is a part of their alchemical process. So I wouldn't be hard on yourself if you feel like you're constantly changing friendship circles, or constantly wanting to change jobs, or constantly starting new tasks, or picking up different hobbies, or whatever, right? Feeling the constant need to move forward is not a bad thing. You might be perceiving it this way because when people baseline, they want stable, they don't want things to change. They want to find a place where they could happily settle and live life every day in the same way every day. They have their routine. They wake up, they do this, they talk about that. They do this on Sundays. You know, they stay up late on this day and watch their show, and every day is the same day, and it's not a good day or a bad day necessarily. It's just the same day, you know, and people baseline and want to find that redundancy because it feels predictable and safe. But you get restless. You know, you get restless. And so you really do need to connect with people who are just as spiritually restless and creative and passionate about growth and being spontaneous and investigating life and experiences and themselves. And or you have to get really comfortable with the evolution process, knowing that you pop into people's experiences because they need to see that it's okay to switch it up. It's okay to do different things. It's okay to break out of the routine, you know, break out of the redundancy of certain relationship dynamics where growth stagnates, you know. So let's see Let's see what other cards want to come out for you with our 2 angel decks. So that you can learn that it's okay to love you as you are. It's okay to love you. I had huge chunks fly out and then 1 card. So let's see. Chemistry. We've got alchemist, right? Now we've got chemistry. It's a divine crossing of paths. And that's what we're talking about. You cross people. You cross people in divine time. You cross people when you are meant to cross people. There's a magnetic draw to them, an attraction there for a reason. You not only create growth for other people, but people cross your path and you are magnetically drawn to them because they're catalysts in your own growth, your own self-discovery, your own self-empowerment. You don't meet people for no reason. If you are drawn to Marseille, this secret code name, this is your secret code name. You do not meet people for no reason. People are drawn to you in your light, and you're extremely healing. They wish they could think like you. They wish they could perceive like you and be passionate like you. And you might find yourself in that same energy in regards to certain people that you've met in your life, that you were just kind of inspired, like awe-inspired by them, wishing you could be more like them. And then if and when y'all exit each other's lives, you do in fact end up stepping into their strength energy that you were drawn to. It almost inspires you into their strengths, right? You integrate it. You integrate it. What is the other angel present for you? What is the other angel present for secret code name Marseille? Take your power back. Don't be afraid. Archangel Raziel. Archangel Raziel is like the magician, Merlin of the archangels. Don't be afraid. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. Archangel Raziel is such a powerful angel, and I've worked with him. I love working with all the archangels, to be completely fair. But Raziel is about your inner magic. And you've got so much of it, right? All this alchemy, chemistry type energy, pioneer type energy. Like, you are powerful. And when you are in your shadow, right, afraid that you're moving on too quickly, or you're afraid that you could be powerful to the point that you would abuse your power, that's the shadow keeping you from elevating and really shining in your light. You are not manipulating anybody. You're not taking advantage of anybody. That's not in your nature, which is why you feel guided to move on when you do. Don't judge yourself for it. Take your power back and just know that you are moving on to the next, whatever the next is, right? The next experience, the next growth process, and you're continuing to evolve. You can manifest whatever you want. If someone's not the right partner for you and their ass ain't fucking changing, leave and let it go, because the next person will be even closer to your ideal partner. And when and if you outgrow that person, you let that person go, no fucking problem, and you move on to the next one, you know, because the next one's going to be even closer to the person that you want to end up with in the long run every time you let go. And then at some point, you will realize that you have met the person who is willing to grow and evolve and experience and pioneer and alchemize people with you. You will find someone in alignment with you. Don't be afraid to take your power back and release, right, judgment from other people when you choose to nurture yourself and your own wounds. You know, getting out of your own shadows. Every relationship dynamic you go through, whether it's romantic, friendship, business, it doesn't matter. Every time you evolve out of a relationship dynamic, you learn something about yourself. You empower yourself that much more. If people can't keep up, that is a them problem. 100% that is a them problem. You can manifest blessings in your life that other people couldn't even dream of actually achieving. They don't have the fucking guts to go forward in life without a fear of judgment, without a fear of instability, without anxiety, without worry, without whatever. And you have this power within you. You have this power within you, this magnitude. Like, you are not like other people. You are not like other people. And that is your blessing, because pioneers are way showers. They're way showers. They're problem solvers. They do it first so that everybody else is like, huh, well, it worked for them. Shit, maybe it'll work for me, because you know what? I don't actually like where I'm at. I don't like being stagnant. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. And you know what? They did it and they got great. I would like to try great. Like, you might inspire people. Take your power back and keep going. You teach people things. Every time you move on from something or someone, you teach them something. Every single time. That's your magic. Your spiritual as fuck card. Exhale that bullshit. Love it. It says, today, practice the ancient meditation technique of inhaling the good shit and exhaling the bullshit. Think of good shit, like puppies and pandas and pineapple. Or think of things that don't start with the letter P. Breathe in like it sparkles. Exhale bullshit stuff like anxiety, self-doubt, and resentment. Let it leave your body like dust being cleared out. It works. At the very least, you'll have an idea about what stuff you like and what stuff to dump on your therapist or therapist. Right. Let it go. Think of all the stuff that you enjoy. Think of all the stuff you love. Think of all the things that feel good. And if someone is not in alignment with it and they are a part of your bullshit, then exhale it out and start to accept the fact that you can grow beyond it. Right? Let go. Let go. Top of the deck, heart is the new balls. Heart is the new balls. All right. So that was secret code name Marseilles. We're going to get into secret code name Sunflower now. Let's get these back in the deck. All right. Timestamp. All right, here we go. Secret code name Sunflower. Secret code name Sunflower. Spirit, please. What is the light and the shadow at play here that you maybe battle with loving yourself through, right? The It's Okay to Love Me theme that we're doing. What is the light and shadow at play here? If you were drawn a secret code name Sunflower, it's your reading. That came right out. Midas and Miser. All right. Midas and Miser. The light attribute is entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold. Delight in sharing life's riches. The shadow. Hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. You might be deserving of a really abundant life. Even if you already consider yourself abundant, Spirit's saying you can actually top it. You can accumulate or develop more, right? This overflow, everything you touch turns to gold. Like you have a certain vision, a knack for things that makes money. Like you would be fucking crazy in marketing or some kind of design, right? Anything that you create, I feel like it could make money. Like your ideas are money. The fear that you have that might prevent you from being as abundant as you could be is a fear of losing it. So if you don't have it, you can't lose it. You might even be frugal to a detriment and not invest in things that would actually make your life easier or invest in things that make money earning easier. You might also hoard your emotions. You might be afraid of expressing yourself because you're afraid you might lose money or wealth, especially if it comes from another person. Like you yourself are wildly capable. Strong earth energy, right? Like if you look in your natal chart, it's your earth energy, your earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. It's where your Saturn placement is. It's where your Mercury placement is. It is technically wherever your Venus placement is. You have to really lean and trust yourself. Lean into your light and trust yourself. Know that people are drawn to you and what you create, drawn to your ideas. You know, it would be like getting a job at a donut shop, you know, and every year they decorate the donuts the same way for a certain holiday. And you decide to get creative one day and decorate them a little different. And they sell out like fucking hotcakes because you decided to have fun with it. And you had this idea, and lo and behold, people loved it. It's like that. Like you have this knack to turn things into something better. They could even charge more money for those donuts because they're extra. And people would still pay for it. They'd still buy them because they're that awesome. Like you're an entrepreneur. You have a creative ability to turn anything into gold. You don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about not expressing how you feel because someone might, quote unquote, take money away, take security away. Like, you can make money doing whatever the fuck you wanted. Like, you don't have to be afraid that it's gonna disappear. Being afraid that it's gonna disappear is how you don't make any more money, right? It's like scared money don't make money, right? No risk, no reward. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that at all. Really, secret code name Sunflower. I hope you gain some serious confidence. Sunflower is a solar plexus connection. Confidence and courage and willpower. Don't be afraid to invest in your ideas. Even if no one else supports you, do it anyway. And then they'll kick themselves in the ass because now they're not making any shared profit off of it with you because you had to do it all by yourself. Right? For real. What other messages come through from our angel cards? Forgiving and learning. Ascending in consciousness, forgiving yourself. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in the present moments. Leaning on other people. Being afraid that you're not capable. Maybe because people that you've witnessed before you held themselves back and didn't believe that they were capable. You've got to forgive yourself for believing you were ever like anybody else. Forgive people who didn't believe in you and your vision or support you in the things that you wanted to create and do, who didn't take your advice or didn't trust you and whatever. Because they have their own money issues, right? Their own money shadows, their own lack mentality. Whoever you were before who doubted yourself, forgive yourself for ever doubting yourself. Forgive yourself for ever doubting yourself. Your heart chakra is crazy capable. Yeah, overcoming difficulties. Archangel Jeremiah. Archangel Jeremiah. If I remember correctly, Archangel Jeremiah takes our prayers and brings them to the divine to hear. He's our messenger. And he's saying the worst is now behind you and you are surmounting any previous challenges. Hey, Kenna, how are you? Yeah, you're overcoming this stuff. Like whatever was prior, you forgive yourself, you invest in yourself, you go fucking all in. Go all in, right? Scared money don't make money. You're at the poker table of life. Go all in because all the bullshitters are going to fucking fold. And everybody else on the table is going to know you're not fucking around. And you're going to end up winning the whole dang pot. So go all in with life. Go all in with life. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. Your prayers are being answered. You might not know how or when or through what or who, but they've been heard and received, right? These prayers have been heard and received. Yeah, of course you would. All right, what is the guidance from our spiritual deck, please? We've got 2 cards. 2 cards. We have forgive. Forgive the fuck out of someone today. And what's the best that could happen? What's the best that could happen? They say, you're probably thinking, it's not that easy. Sorry, but yes, the fuck it is. Take all the energy you've put into being mad and making a case for how wrong so-and-so is and let that shit go. Start small so you can get the hang of it. The driver who just cut you off, yell, I forgive you, and wave. Secret bonus perk. Forgiving someone usually pisses them off worse than anything else. True facts. True facts. You're probably super good at thinking up the worst case scenario, right? You can project all your fears onto a big screen and play them out in vivid color. You can actually feel the anger of the confrontation you haven't confronted, the loss of the job you haven't been fired from, and the death of the star you haven't dared to shoot for. Try putting those superpowers to work in the opposite direction. Imagine how you could be surprised and delighted in those same scenarios. Daydream instead of worry. Say hey to that cool ass shit. What's the best that could happen? Forgive someone today. Don't even focus on that. Focus on what you've got going for you. Focus on the positive. Focus on what makes you happy and brings joy into your life. And if it's not a certain person or situation, forgive them and keep going. It's not that easy to forgive them. Yes, it is. They're ignorant. They're not in alignment. Forgive them. They don't know what they do. Right? Like even Jesus was like, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgive somebody today. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't. They're blind to themselves. You got to think about the best case scenario when you go forward with whatever you need to go forward with and trust in your own divinity and your connection to your higher self. Because that Midas touch is yours and other people don't have to believe it. You do. Believing is seeing. So if they don't believe it because they don't see it, and then you believe them, you'll never see it. But just because they don't believe it until they see it doesn't mean you do. You can believe it before you see it and start taking actions and watch it manifest some awesome shit. So forgive them for their blindness. Forgive them for their ignorance. Forgive them for not seeing your value or your creative potential or your vision the way you do. Forgive them. They know not what they do. They know not what they do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, literally reminds me of the saying, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's not that you are afraid to fail, but that you are afraid to fly and succeed. Because the feeling of failing is familiar, but the feeling of succeeding isn't. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And people in general are wildly familiar with failure. They're afraid to succeed 100%. And that's what that is, right? The obsessive fear over losing your wealth, the obsessive fear over losing what it is you obtain. You're afraid of failing. And so you sabotage the launch, so to speak, and the rocket never takes off. Because you're afraid something will go wrong. You're afraid to trust what you've created, afraid to trust what you've built, what you've put into place. So forgive other people, forgive yourself, and know that you might just be the answer to your own prayer. For real. Don't hold yourself back no more. Not one more day. Not one more day. Go ahead and give yourself one more excuse. Try it. It's going to feel like shit. It's going to feel like shit. Give yourself one more excuse. Go ahead and try. That was secret code name Sunflower. All right. So we're going to get into secret code name Ivy. Secret code name Ivy. And those who are drawn to it. Spirit, please, for secret code name Ivy and those who are drawn to it, what is the light and shadow at play? That they're learning it's okay to love themselves. What is it? What is it? That it is okay to love themselves. What is the light and shadow? Visionary wanted to show itself, but it didn't come out. Might come back out. We'll see. Ooh, that one came out. Healer. Healer. Your light attributes. A passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, and the ability to help transform pain into healing. They're doing Reiki right here. That's the image there. You have the power to help heal people. You have a passion for it. And the ability to do it because you've probably gone through a lot of pain in your life. You can understand. I think your fear, the shadow, right? The shadow attribute. The fear is feeling like you're taking advantage of other people that need your help. Like, an example would be either undervaluing your service and not charging enough money or charging anything at all, right? Feeling like you should be doing it for free, feeling like you're taking advantage of them if you charge them money, but you're not though. You know what I mean? Like equal energy exchange. Because they don't have to pay you monetarily, you might barter instead. You know, maybe you do a certain service for them and they're able to do whatever for you. Maybe they bring you over something that they create. You know, it doesn't have to be money. It could be bartering. But don't feel like you're taking advantage of people who need it. Like, do as you're guided. You know, do as you're guided. If you are guided to not charge anybody anything or ask anything in return, then you just simply need to understand that you are in a divine exchange with spirit, because spirit is asking you to do it for nothing from that person, but spirit's not asking you to do it for nothing, period. That just means spirit has a way of paying you and you don't know what it is yet. It's just not supposed to come through that person. So you're not taking advantage of anybody. You know, if you feel guided to do something or guided to not do something or guided to do it in a certain way, then do that. You're not taking advantage of somebody because you have a gift and a passion for something that they need because they're not where you are yet and they would like to be, you know. I also think that a part of this shadow is feeling like you'll get so wrapped up in the healing of other people that you'll forget to take care of your own self and your own energy. And that you might avoid it because it's too much on you. It's too draining. You will never, if you do as you're guided and exchange whatever you're meant to exchange with individuals or with spirit or whatever, you will always take care of yourself. Say no when you're guided to say no. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. Like, there have been times, because I do what I do, right? I do energy work for people. I do energy scans for people. I do more than just tarot and astrology, right? I have a huge modality toolbox. I've actually refunded people because I wasn't guided to work with them. I said, I appreciate you reaching out to me, but I'm not guided to do it. And they were offering, sometimes they offered me double. I'll pay you double, please. And there was something about it. I was like, no. And it might not be because of their energy. It might be because spirit knew that they were going to have a fucking payment of something out the wazoo happening in a couple days. And if they gave me that money for the service, they wouldn't be able to, you know, fix their fucking tire type shit. Maybe the insight I would have gave them would have fell on deaf ears. Maybe they needed to hear it from someone else. Maybe they are more than capable of healing themselves. Sometimes I gave people's money back and was like, I'm not guided to do the service for you, but I am guided to give you this for free. Sometimes I would pull them a guidance card or just give them a little advice. Like, you don't need a whole service. You just need to hear this. You know, like, do as you're guided and the universe will do the rest. Trust your worth, trust your value, and let it flow accordingly. Like, yeah, I have my services and I have my prices, but there are times that I'm guided to do things for free. There are times I'm guided not to do shit. You know? So learn to accept where you're at and to trust yourself, knowing that it is okay to say no, right? Just because someone is offering me $220 some odd for whatever service, and I would love $220 some odd, right? It's nice, but if I'm not feeling it, I got to trust that spirit would have that money come back to me in a different way, especially if I need it. But I'm not going to force myself to do something I'm not actually guided to do. That doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't actually benefit anybody. So if you're a healer and you are capable of helping people, whether you do learn Reiki or you do learn how to do different, you know, energetic work, or maybe you go a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Quote unquote scholarly route, and you get into psychology, you know, or you get into medicine, you know, maybe you know, you're like Tanya and you go into holistic medicine, natural medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, right? Different things that you might be drawn to. Maybe you get into massage therapy. I could have probably definitely used one, you know. If you missed the story at the beginning, I'm not repeating it. You're going to have to go back and watch it. But yeah, you know, I would not be afraid of the energy exchanges that come your way, because you do have a gift and a capability, and spirit would work its highest good through you. You just need to trust your discernment. You need to trust your discernment. Do not sell yourself short or sell your soul for shit, you know? Do not sell yourself short. Let's see what other messages our angels have for you. And it's interesting because I believe Ivy is actually one of those things. It's like a money plant. If you use it in, you know, for magical purposes, ivy represents money. And the creation of old money at that, right? Generational money. It's great if you're doing money candles or like a little money pouch or something as a reminder to yourself. Ivy's good for that. All right. What angel messages would come through for you? Secret code name Ivy. All right, we're going to hold on that one. I'm going to hold it right there. What other angel message wants to come out? Because that's, okay. Archangel Chamuel heals connections between other people. He's a heart chakra healer, but in connection to others, right? Where Archangel Raphael is the healer within, and it's the green aspect of the heart chakra. Archangel Chamuel is the archangel that resonates with the pink vibration or the harmony vibration with other people. And it's come out with our twin flame card. Past life relationships. It says you have known each other before. Love is infinite and eternal. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. You may have had an incident with a high counterpart that you considered a twin flame, and they may have been catalytic for your healing process, that you actually became this healer, right? That maybe you didn't quite have it in you before, but maybe the dynamic shift between you and your flame was so catalytic. It might have even been another level of toxic, right? But you went to such a place that you came out of it capable of healing people. You came out of it different, right? Going in as the caterpillar and coming out the butterfly on the other end of it all. You may want to consider holding a lot of gratitude for the darker connections of your life, or the more inspirational dynamics of your life, because not all twin flame dynamics are toxic. Some are beautifully light, and no matter which side of the counterpart journey you've fallen on, I think that it unlocked something in you that other people, not just yourself, but other people could really benefit from. You might want to consider a career or a new beginning or a second job, or just a stepping stone in a certain direction, because nothing happens overnight. But there are people in the world that could really benefit from you and your energy and your perspective and the advice that you would give. Learning to accept the self, you know, learning to process through things, where it comes from and how to move forward from it, right? How to empower the self after something that may have been difficult, you know. You're a healer. You're a healer. All right. What is the spiritual as fuck advice card? Secret code name Ivy. Vibrate so high that toxic people fall back because they no longer know how to approach you. vibrate so high that toxic people fall back because they no longer know how to approach you. It says, know how you can tell you're on some hardcore personal growth? Your perspective gets bigger and your inner circle gets smaller. It may be that people who want to gossip quit texting when you stop talking shit. If you're busy manifesting your dreams, keeping your side of the street clean, and working on those old gnarly wounds that people want to avoid in themselves, some people are bound to disappear. Be kind to yourself and to others as you outgrow people and places. You might have some really deep connections with people. Maybe some long-standing ones, or where there's very past life relationship kind of connections, right? It goes deep. Because not all twin flames are romantic, to be fair. These high soul contracts, especially if they are painful, where they don't feel good in any degree, whether it's mildly uncomfortable or wildly upsetting and deeply disturbing to the psyche, right? Either way, with career transition and Archangel Chamuel, I think that you are going down a different path. I think you're going down a different path. You've got to stick to your own lane right now, because I think other people who are not on the healing train would prevent you or distract you from your healing, prevent you from your ascending energy. Spirit needs you out there. Like, it's okay to love you. You know, like, that is the theme of these readings. It's okay to love you. You're allowed to choose yourself. You're allowed to choose your soul family. The people that you know and the people you have yet to meet that need to connect with you in this life. In the highest good of everybody. Like, vibrate so high that toxic people fall back. Because they no longer know how to approach you. Like, that is the guidance. That is the advice. Yeah, 100%. You needed to hear that? Yeah. Yeah. Trust me, I know there's people in my life that wouldn't dare message me now. They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't fucking dare. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it. Meet me on my level. You won't feel so weird or bad about reaching out to me. Vibrate higher. Vibrate higher. We're going to get into secret code name Snowman. And then we're going to do Bayleaf Wishes. So if you have any wishes that you want on Bayleaves, it is a members only chat for a reason, because members are the only ones that can do the Bayleaf Wishes. So if you would like Bayleaf Wishes and you are in the chat, let me know, because I will put it on Bayleaf and send it out into the ether for you. All right. Let's see. Re-timestamp that. Okay. Secret codename Snowman. And it always, anytime Spirit gives me the secret codename Snowman, because it happens from time to time. And I find it interesting that we're having it in July up in this hemisphere, because the person who actually has a secret codename is in the southern hemisphere. So shout out to everybody down under. But it reminds me of that song by Sia. And I'm pretty sure it's called Snowman. It's a good track. You might want to check it out. All right. Spirit. What is the light in the shadow? That secret code name Snowman, and those drawn to it need to know it's okay that they can love who they are, right? It's okay to love me. What is the light in the shadow at play here? That it's okay for them to love themselves. I've got too many, but we've got gambler, athlete, guide, and child divine. So I'm going to put them back in and see if any of them come back out. All right. What is the light and shadow at play, Spirit? Child, wounded, and guide. There's that beautiful owl that's been popping up in all of the astro dice readings. All right, Miss Owl, or Mr. Owl, whoever is watching and resonating. You are the owl person. Child, wounded, and guide, the light attributes. Awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children. Opens the learning path of forgiveness. Represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. This is an interesting combination of cards, because what Spirit is kind of showing me as a person who opens the learning path of forgiveness, and you might know it about yourself, whether it's romantic or business or family or friends or whatever. You may have a knack for attracting toxic, but at harsher levels than most people. One, because you are learning how to forgive yourself for the wounds that you have and how they attract you to certain people, but because you're also almost magnifying the shadow in other people, right? Shining the light in. And it irritates their demons. It irritates their shadows to where they get set off and need to forgive themselves because they have their shadows. Like, their shadows can't hide in your presence. The shadow of these is blaming dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds and resist moving on through forgiveness. Places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. I feel like you're afraid. It's like you're afraid to blame dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, Because if you blame it on childhood wounds, your childhood is something that's past. It's something that has stuck with you for X amount of years. And it's like, maybe you can't change it. And so there's this resistance to maybe even acknowledging how dysfunctional it was. You might have been actually downplaying how toxic your childhood was to your psyche, right? The things that you witnessed and heard and experienced. Like, even if you acknowledge that it was bad and it was toxic in some way, I don't think you actually give it the magnitude that it deserves. It was fucking harsh. Especially if you had a parent who was trying to quote unquote save someone, like the other parent, and yet they were codependent financially on that person, you know, sticking around to heal them, but also being financially dependent on them. And so there was spirits giving me the words spiritual whiplash. Because every time they tried to impart some kind of healing on someone else, they got literally whipped with the lesson right back. It's almost like someone claiming innocent, but they're not entirely innocent because they have motives that are hidden, right, in the dark places. And so they attach themselves to these people who were in need of deep healing, but it was also because there was something hidden. And it's like, that even might be why you could be fiercely independent, especially financially independent, because you never wanted to be put in that position, you know, like the parent who was financially codependent. You might not have ever wanted to be in that position. And yet you might still attract abusive people or toxic people who create that whiplash for you when you try doing a good thing for them in the healing. And it doesn't have anything to do with finances. It has everything to do with what you're familiar with attracting, right? You're meant to love your desire to serve other wounded children and open up that forgiveness door. But you don't have to fear the whiplash, especially if you've overcome that. Maybe it was an issue earlier in your life, but maybe it's not anymore. You broke some kind of, with your children, you broke some kind of cycle. You gotta watch that there's not a different one that you're not as familiar with or privy to. Like someone who is volatile or violent might be an easy one to spot. And you may have overcome that, right? Financial codependence and taking abuse might be an easy one to spot. But one that might not be as easy to spot, or one that you might be more inclined to turn a blind eye to, might be drinking too much to quote unquote relax or quote unquote take the edge off, when it's becoming a crutch on how you escape dealing with your problem. neglecting to have that conversation with the self, like why you're putting up with certain things, especially if it's like a workplace dynamic where you're codependent on your place of work, right? And maybe you're trying to be of help, maybe you're trying to be supportive, but every time you try and help, you get that whiplash back and you need them financially, right? So even if it was a relationship dynamic that you learned as a child, it might be playing out differently now as you're an adult. And you're healing through that. Like you're capable of more than you're seeing. You're the owl, right? Divinely protected, safe, in alignment with yourself, and you have nothing to fear from other people. Because even if spirit moved you, they would have to forgive themselves for hurting you or losing you. That would open the door to forgiveness for them, where they have to learn that, and you would have to open the door to forgive yourself for ever dealing with their shit, because you're divinely protected. You have no reason to put up with the shit. You're not codependent on them financially like you think, and having to take certain abuse, even if it's abuse of power like you think, right? Verbal abuse or psychological abuse, because, you know, you're financially, quote unquote, tied to somebody or something. Like, trust that your presence opens doors to forgiveness, and it's okay, because spirit's going to move you multiple times throughout life every time you decide you're not going to take abuse for some kind of stability. Okay. What is the angel messages in alignment with Snowman? What are the angel messages in alignment with Snowman, please, Spirit? Trust. Let me get the other one out for you. Right out. Yeah. Archangel Ariel and prosperity. Trust. This situation is calling you to have faith. It says Archangel Ariel. Your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. Your intuition is literally just following your feel goods. If it doesn't feel good, trust that it's not in alignment and that you can let it go. You can. And that you will be guided at the right time to do so. And a new door will open for you because you've just simply decided that you are open to letting it go. A new door will open just because you decided you are willing to let it go. You know, it reminds me of those situations where you're not being valued at work, right? You're not being appreciated or considered, and you're being treated like crap or whatever. And so you start looking for another job, and lo and behold, you do find another job. You do take some time to interview with them. They offer you even more money than you're making. And when you go to put your time in at your present job, they panic. Like, oh shit. They're putting in their time. They're leaving. They're getting offered this elsewhere and that elsewhere. And in your exit interview, you're telling your, human resources or whatever you call it, that this is the reason why you're leaving. That you didn't appreciate this, you didn't appreciate that, and they're going to try and convince you to stay, and they might even offer you a raise to stay. And then it's up to you to do as you're guided from there. Do you want to take it and lose the opportunity that you're being presented elsewhere? Or is it really not worth it to you to continue to deal with these people and fingers crossed that they change, You might just be more prosperous and happier somewhere else. But you got to trust. The situation is calling you to have faith because something is whipping back at you. And there's a forgiveness lesson there. And on the other side of it is prosperity. Archangel Ariel is God's strength. That's the lion heart of God. You got to listen to your intuition. If it doesn't feel good, if it is not a fuck yeah, this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I'm inspired to do, this is where I'm inspired to be. If it's not in that alignment, trust that there's something else in that alignment out there for you. On a real note, what's the spiritual as fuck guidance, please? Secret code name Snowman. Pretending to be a savage won't heal that hole in your heart, baby. Pretending to be a savage won't heal that hole in your heart, babe. It says, you know who the real OGs are. The ones who ain't got shit to hide from anyone, especially themselves. Real OGs claim their humanity. They hold those wounds up to the light like Mufasa holding Simba. Can you hear that inspirational music starting? Yeah, that's you starting the hero's journey, love bug. You don't have anything to hide from anybody, not even yourself. And pretending to be savage like you don't care or it doesn't hurt or you could power through it or you could this or you could that, like pretending to be savage is not helping you heal. The fact that you don't like what you're feeling, that lack of fulfillment, pretending that you could take it or you could deal with it or you could be strong, like how long you've been doing that? How long have you been putting on that character role and playing that role, that you're strong and you can handle it and it doesn't bother you and you could figure your way through it? You shouldn't have to pretend that it's not bothering you. If it's bothering you, it's bothering you. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge the truth for what it is. It fucking bothers you. And you don't have to be strong and put up with it and figure out a way through it. You don't have to. You can. If you feel guided to, if you are inspired to, if it feels good to. But if it's not, though, this is where you claim your sovereignty. This is where you claim your sovereignty. You don't need to be at war. You don't need to fight. You just need to choose what is and isn't in alignment with you. There is no battle. There is no war. It's just a matter of fact. This is or isn't in alignment. I can express myself and have it received, or I can't. I am considered or I'm not. I'm held in value and high regard or I'm not. I'm in reciprocal dynamics that give me what I put in or I don't. You don't have to fight the outer experience to be what you need it to be, what you want it to be. You just simply change the outer experience and let it become what you want. You can go either way, but one is actually a lot more easier than you think. And that is the message for Snowman. And now that all of the secret code names are done, we're going to get into Bayleaves. We're going to get into Bayleaves, which is my favorite part because I get to be a Sagittarius. And I love it. So let me get all my decks back in here so I don't accidentally burn them. I would be so sad. I would be so sad. Let me go grab all my fiery wonderfulness. If you are burning Bayleaf Wishes at home, make sure you have a fireproof container, guys. All right. And if you are going to do it, save a lighter, use a tea light. Now, if you didn't get a wish in with me, that's fine. All of my members hold space when they choose their wishes. And anybody can claim any wish they want and say, I claim that wish. It is going out into the universe for you. We're all holding intention here as soul family. All right. So the wishes that our beautiful members gave me in advance: health, wealth, and safety for everyone, inner balance, financial security, permanence, releasing lack and concern from others, confidence and self-belief, releasing doubt and concern about what others think, and to refocus more on our blessings and our troubles. So, got all my bay leaves right here. I'm going to write these out, and you guys can put your wishes in the comments. Any members that pop in, you could do that. Otherwise, we're totally going to start this. So, health is the first one. So if any of you guys need a little blessing for health in the right direction, Patty's got you. So there it is. Blessings and wishes for health. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit in the highest, for you. We are eternally grateful. Thank you. All right. Next one, we're going to do wealth and financial security. We'll check them off because they're kind of tied together. So let's see. Wealth and financial security. We're going to welcome it in. We are going to welcome it in. So we are all capable of manifesting blessings and being the answer to our own prayer most of the time. So Spirit, guide us. Guide us in the direction of wealth and financial stability in the highest good. Amen, amen again. So here we go. There's our beautiful bay leaf. If y'all guys have never heard of Bayleaf Wishes before, look it up. They've been doing this shit for hundreds of years. So here we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. All right. Safety. And security, because that can go quite a few ways. So safety and security. That's a big one. Feeling safe and secure is a big one. I know a lot of people are feeling that, especially when they're going through changes or potential changes and letting things go. So if you are on that crossroads right now of potentially going through changes in your life and you want to feel safe and secure in general and with people and situations, then this is a wish out for you guys. All right, safety and security wishes. Spirit, thank you, thank you, thank you in the highest. We give it to you. We are eternally grateful. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next one, inner balance. Inner balance. That's some masculine and feminine union energy, that the mind is able to listen to how the heart feels and act accordingly, right? Act in accordance with what would feel better to choose. That we could stop choosing things that don't feel good. Because people do that shit all the time. They choose it every day. God knows I was guilty of it for a long time. Not no more. Not no more. Grace don't fucking like it. Grace is done. Grace is done. If it brings more fucking headache into my life than joy, I don't hesitate no more. So spirit, inner balance wishes, we give it to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. All right. Next wish. A wish for permanence. Especially if there are certain things in your life that you do love or are really happy with and you find great joy there and you really don't want it to change, right? And you may be dealing with outer energies that are threatening that. So we're going to do a wish for permanence in the highest good always. Because if it's not in the highest good to be permanent, then we really don't want it, right? So permanence in the highest good. I put all my little heart and infinity symbols on the back of each Bayleaf wish. So this one is a wish for permanence in the highest good. Spirit, take it. Thank you, thank you, thank you in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. Let's see. Our next one was releasing a lack of concern from others. So what we're going to wish for then is consideration. All right. We're going to wish for consideration then. And you know what? We'll do another one for compassion because they kind of go hand in hand. All right. Thank you, Spirit. So our first one is consideration. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We give this wish to you. For you, we are eternally grateful. And a wish for compassion. Spirit, we give it to you. We know you got this. Spirit works in the realm of miracles. So thank you, Spirit, for taking that. For you, we are eternally grateful. All right. The next wish that our members gave was confidence and self-belief. So if you really need that confidence to believe in yourself right now, this one is for you. This one is for you. Believe in your divine abilities, your connection with spirit, your highest good. Believe that everything is working out for a reason. You're not ever behind in whatever you're doing or choosing, right? There's a confidence in self, right? Being confident in that belief you have in yourself. So that wish is going out there. We're going to give it to Spirit. Spirit works in the realm of miracles. Thank you, Spirit in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. Thank you. The next wish was about releasing doubt and concern about what others think. So we're going to wish for authenticity instead. Because if we release doubt and release concern, it's because we're being authentic and we don't give a fuck. So, authenticity and self-approval. That is the next wish. A little heart infinity on there. If any other members want to leave a wish, you can. I've got one more after this, unless I put my own little wishes in there. We'll see, because you guys covered a lot. So there's our authenticity and self-approval wish. Spirit, we give it to you. You work in the realm of miracles. Thank you in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. And the final wish was the ability to refocus on our blessings over our troubles, to focus more on our blessings. So you know what? We're going to do a refocus to gratitude and solutions. Refocus to gratitude and solutions. Hell yeah. All right. So Spirit, there is our refocus. Our refocus wish. Keep us in high alignment. Thank you for working in the realm of miracles. We give it to you. Thank you in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. I fucking love Spirit so much. Burning these wishes always makes my soul happy. So let's see. What other wish I want to put out there? Mirror sight. And self acknowledgement. Mirror sight. I think everybody can so benefit from understanding the mirror. I hope more people realize that. And so you know what? I will wish that for myself as well. God knows there's always something else to say all the time. So, Spirit, we give it to you. Thank you for working in the realm of miracles. Thank you, thank you, thank you in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. And I think I will do one more. And embracing success instead of fearing it. All right. Welcoming success. Spread wings. Good one, McKenna. Good one. Welcoming in success, right? Not fearing it. I like that. All right. Spirit, we give this wish to you. You work in the realm of miracles. Thank you, thank you, thank you in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. Yes. Oh. Hi, Josh. How you doing? All right. And you know what? I'm going to do one more for our fur babies. Just fur baby peace. That all of our fur babies feel at peace, whether in this life or after. That they never suffer. They're our best friends. They're our best friends. And so you know what? We're going to do a little wish of peace for them. So Spirit, you work in the realm of miracles. We give it to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you in the highest. For you, we are eternally grateful. And so it is. And so it is. So I will give y'all just a minute because I know there's a lag on here to give me any other wishes that you might want. I still have a few bay leaves left. I went through more bay leaves than I thought I would. I still got a few left. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this. We're going to wrap up this beautiful live. I hope you guys enjoy all of the secret code names and the different messages that came through in them. I hope that you guys enjoy the cosmic currency. Yeah, the fur baby one. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a fur baby too that's, well, not here anymore, but blessed by his presence all the time. Still, to this day, he shows up for me. And I'm just reminded of the gratitude of it all. So, yeah, one for our fur babies. Even if they're not furry, because not all pets are furry, but, you know, intention. The vibe is there. We'll wish them all peace. And especially because most of them leave this life before we do. We're going to see them on the other side. No doubt. So much love to each and every one of you. I will have timestamps in the description and the comments in just a few minutes. I just need to double check them all because YouTube, well, it screws around and it's usually like a 20 to 30 second blip. So I will have all the timestamps in. You guys can hop, skip, and jump around. Don't forget to take advantage of any of the sales in the shop right now if you need them, because the whole shop is on sale and I don't do it often. All right. Embrace your blessings. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody.